Okay, and welcome back
Welcome back
to
to
the Alpha Primal podcast,
episode 15.
episode 15.
It's getting exciting.
It is. We're improving each
We're
time.
trying to.
I'm trying to improve. For those of you who are watching, I've set up a rig behind me. I'm hanging a blanket.
To catch the noise,
to catch
background
the
noise.
Yeah, we're trying to increase and improve the sound quality.
So hopefully this helps.
I've been doing research. I started off doing research, so I was thinking, and just I'm going to throw this out there. I think I'm going to say this several times this episode. I think the theme that I'm going to go with is I was thinking. But as I was researching and thinking, one day you're just going to walk into one of our bathrooms and it's just going to be a sound studio with blankets hanging all over the place. And I was actually just imagining you sitting there saying, like, okay, what is this and when are we taking it down?
Probably the most important question. When are you taking it down?
Yeah.
How long is it staying?
That's more of your judgment that I see in the eyes. It's like, okay, how long is this staying up? And I'm just gonna be sitting there with that dumb smile on my face and like, aren't you proud and impressed? Look what I built.
I will be proud. But it's still got to come down.
Yes. Yeah, that's the more important part. So yes, I hooked up a rig behind us to sort of improve some of the sound qualities. I do have to say, so it being our 15th episode, you're improving each episode, or hopefully trying to improve each episode, so increase the sound quality. And I feel like we've done that. We've come from what we were doing our first episode, where we were just literally recording from the computer camera, and then being able to put it online, getting the sound recording, and being able to put it more online. And just improving each time. And we're only 15 episodes in, so imagine what episode 100 is going to be.
It's a fun project.
It is, yeah. And that's what it is. It's a fun little project that we do together, and most of the time, and one of the things that I wanted to point out and really understand today is, most of the time the conversations that we bring up, I mean, we'll have the conversation a little bit ahead of time, but it's our first conversation of having it ourselves between us.
Unless we have to record it more than once.
unless it is recorded more than once. But we try to do it pretty live and on the spot, so get deeper into the meanings or our feelings behind why we believe what we believe.
And it's a little bit more of a natural conversation about the topics, like we would just be regularly having.
Yeah. Help people out. Yeah. Help our community.
Oh. What an idea.
Okay. So today's topic, we're episode 15. Today's topic we want to really get into. I don't know if we're going to get a recording in next weekend. I'm just going to throw that out to everybody. Next weekend's Thanksgiving. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks we're probably not going to be getting an episode in just because the holidays. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We usually record this on the weekend, and during Thanksgiving weekend, it's just going to be
a lot going on.
Way too much. I was talking about this with one of my clients actually yesterday. I love our family to death. I'm not going to say both of our families. Love them to death, but they require a lot out of us. I mean, especially my parents. I mean,
well, there's a lot of different parts of the family.
Right.
So when you extend the family out, it's like, got to do this with these people, and then this with these people.
People are in town, and they're not in town a lot. And especially, I throw this at my mom a lot, but she guilt trips me into it all. It's like, well, Nicole's going to be in town, and Katie's, like, they just want to see the baby. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, we'll come.
Well, she uses the guilt trip because it works.
Yeah, it's that Irish Catholic guilt. She gets me every time.
But it is good to see everyone.
It is, and it's always worth it, and it's not that often. So it is worth seeing.
So yeah, we might not have an episode that weekend, but we will be here next weekend.
Correct.
So
this week is about
holidays. How to handle the holidays.
For the holidays. Yeah. For the holidays. And truly, how are we about to handle this, especially with some of our restrictions coming up? How are you going to handle I don't know what your plan is, or just going over our plan for what we do and how we plan on navigating some of the pitfalls that can come with the holiday, especially from Thanksgiving to Christmas, because I feel like all of a sudden we get into this lull in between those holidays. Thanksgiving, we're pretty good leading up to Thanksgiving, and then that everything just goes haywire between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then Christmas and New Year's Eve.
There's so many holiday parties,
right,
and so many like opportunities for temptation to seep in.
Right. Well, you're seeing people more often because they are in town, so it's
and food is always
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that you have to take battle and see how you want to approach it and kind of think about it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Make a plan.
How are you? Or do we want to start getting in the episode, or do we want to recap first?
Well, we can recap.
Let's hold where you're at.
Okay.
I'm gonna get back to where you're at. But let's recap first. How was your week? We're at the 30-day challenge.
It was pretty good. I have only gotten 2 workouts in. I'm hoping to get one in today for my 3rd for the week. But I've been doing my squats and my hangs, and I've been actually able to sit in the squat and hang a lot longer. So before I was doing like 30-second increments of the hang, and now I just got up to a minute. Woohoo!
Oh, that's huge.
Hang. So
that's a long time to be in a hang.
You can tell it's building my grip strength and just all over strength from that.
Yeah. No, definitely. How's your squat going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm doing about 1.5 minutes. I can go up to 2 minutes, but I just can't sit still that long.
Oh, so it's not that you can't do it, it's that you lose concentration. Okay.
Pretty much.
Well, you got to start doing stuff in the squat. You can't just sort of sit there and let the time go. You see me sometimes. I'm like eating a meal.
Right. Well, I do if I'm on my phone or something. It goes by fast. So maybe I'll do that more.
I Clash of Clans while I'm in squat.
Oh.
Shout out to Vince. You should start doing that, dude.
I know how much you can multitask.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he plays chess, someone like Vince, I'm just throwing for it. But I mean, whatever you do on your phone.
Sure.
Go through Instagram and Facebook while you're in the squat.
Sure. But my food has been doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Yeah, I think you're doing pretty well too.
We have 3 weeks in.
We are 3 weeks in.
So we got 1 more full week and then the half week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So food-wise, I've been doing what?
Not eating enough.
Not eating enough, and that Ashley pointed that out to me. I was definitely not eating enough. So rearranged some things that was eating more.
Okay.
I think I have to change up what I'm eating more of. Most of the time, it's more like tortilla chips, and not necessarily. I mean that I just need to be eating snacking smarter, or a meal. Yeah. I haven't been eating enough for sure. I was, again, this is the theme of it. I was thinking about, because I didn't hit all my movements this week, and I was thinking about why I didn't hit all my movements this week. I think it was 2 days of, especially I always get the squat in. I'm really good about getting the squat in, and I'll hammer out those squats, the 20 squats and the 10 push-ups. I'll hammer those out. Usually I think I missed 1 day where I didn't get the pull-ups and the hang in.
Okay.
And then I missed 2 days where I didn't get the handstand in. And I was sort of thinking about why I did, because what I have been doing is I've been getting in my meditation and getting in my sleep. I've been really good about getting in the sleep. I've been going to bed at last night I was in bed, it's Friday night, we're in bed by 9:30, read for a little bit, and then passed out. I think I was in bed by 10, and then I went to bed around 10:30, but anyway. And I was thinking about why I haven't been getting in my movements, and I was actually re-listening to some of our earlier podcasts, the first couple weeks of our podcast, and I was very nonchalant about my movements. I'm like, oh yeah, they're easy to get in, and I feel like I've lost my way and what the purpose of those why I wanted to do those movements. Excuse me. why I wanted to do those movements in the first place. I got away from that mindset and got more into the mindset of like, oh, this is just a task that needs to be done every day. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
And when it became a task that I needed to get done, it became less important to me. So this, especially the last couple of days, I got into the mindset of why I wanted to do those in the first place and why they were important to me in the first place personally. Like I wanted to get better upper body stability and strength with the handstand and the grip strength and the pull-ups. I want to increase my grip strength while I'm doing the hang.
So you need to be, you weren't being as mindful about it. You were just doing it because you had to do it.
Right, exactly. And that really was something that I lost my way with. And I didn't when I wasn't thinking about it in that terms, it was a lot easier for me to disregard it and blow it off, disregard it. And I feel guilty about it because now I'm back in the mindset, and I shouldn't say I feel guilty about it. It is what it is.
Right.
I'm glad this was a learning experience because now each time I do start thinking about that movement and I feel like, oh, I should get this in. It's not I should get this in. It's like, this is why I want to get it in. I want to get this in because of X, Y, and Z. Not I should get this in because of X, Y, and Z. It's like I want to get this in because it is important to me to be increasing my ability in that movement, in whatever movement that was that day. I want to increase my ability to perform better in that movement. So I needed to get into that mindset again.
And I think that's kind of an important lesson for anyone to learn. I mean, once you start something, you know, your flame can kind of fizzle out after 2 weeks or so of doing it. And you kind of have to keep reminding yourself or just keep those friendly reminders of why you're doing it and what the end goal is with doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, that could be common with probably anything that someone does after a week or two.
Absolutely.
And they just get bored or get kind of over the task.
Yeah.
You just need to like relight the fire.
Right. And especially like during, and this is a good segue into the conversation I want to have this week, because that can be one of the first things that sort of is put on the back burner during this time of year.
Right.
You know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people to see. There's a lot of, you know, more temptation than usual during this time of year to whether it be eat on a little bit less healthy than you would, or to move less than you would and work out less than you would. So what are some of the things as leading into what we were talking about earlier? Leading into the holidays, what are sort of the ways we can navigate from a nutritional standpoint? What can we do to navigate some of this downfalls?
Are you saying just throughout the whole time, the whole period, or when you're going to a specific, like an event or something, or just what?
Well, yeah. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with Thanksgiving coming up. What are some ways if I'm I mean, especially for me, I don't plan on doing dairy. I don't.
Definitely stick to what you know works for you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't feel guilty to eat something because grandma made it or it's your mom's special, you know, whatever. But if you know that any dairy is going to hurt your stomach and the next day you're going to pay for it, or that day or whatever, then stick to your guns. Eat what works for you. Don't feel guilted. Now, if you want to eat that and you know the consequences and you say, okay, I'm going to eat this chocolate pie even though I know it's going to make me go to the bathroom in 30 minutes and I might be in there for an hour or something,
Right.
then that's the risk you're willing to take.
Right. But that's your internal
decision.
Yeah, that's your internal guilt. Don't let you're saying don't let other people guilt you into
Right.
into doing this. That's two different distinctions. I mean,
True.
if it's your internal guilt and you know it's something and you're willing to take those consequences, then great. Hey, go for it.
Yeah.
But if it's I was thinking about this year too. Thinking about external guilt. I think I'm going to get really, really a lot of guilt from my Aunt Gail about not eating her lasagna this year.
Oh, right.
And I was like, I got to stick to my guns because truthfully, like, dairy has not done well for me. And if we're out somewhere and we're not in the comfort of our own home,
You don't want to go through that.
no, I don't want to go through that. Like,
Yeah.
especially when we're going out to Ohio this coming Thanksgiving.
I mean, yeah, one of the most important things is to not let people guilt you into drinking. Come on, just come out for a drink or something.
Yeah.
Or let's just go out to eat. Like, if you really don't want to do that, say, no, well, why don't you come over and we'll make something to eat, make something healthier. Or,
Yeah.
there's lots of other alternatives that you can do instead of going out and drinking and eating and all that stuff.
Right.
If your friends are in town and you want to see them, find an activity to go do. You don't have to go out to eat.
Yeah.
There's lots of holiday things in the city that you could go see.
What are we about to go do tonight?
We're going on a date and we're going axe throwing.
Yeah. Throwing some axes.
Hopefully no one gets hurt.
No one. I've never done it, so I can't say I'm a pro. Dude, I'm so excited.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, we'll let you know next week. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
So yeah, there's lots of other things
Yeah.
that you can do besides.
And that's an active activity, right? Exactly.
What are some of the other mindset things? Don't save up. Like don't wait all day.
Saving up for this turkey dinner here. Yeah.
Because then you're just going to max out and overeat and feel like crap afterwards. Get up, have a small breakfast still, eat regularly. Maybe you
Eat at your normal times.
Maybe you do tone it back and not eat as much because you're going to eat a little bit more later. But don't save up for this huge meal and then you're starving and you just shove your face full of food.
Right. Well, and that's a really good point about like. So I don't know. This isn't necessarily a MythBusters episode, but like that whole like tryptophan makes you sleepy, and I think it's pretty well known now that you need pretty much like 3 to 5 whole turkeys in order for the amount of tryptophan to really affect you like you think it does.
Right.
But I think a lot of times what it goes into, and if you want more of the scientific reasoning, is because when we get into that mindset and we fast for that long, and then all of a sudden we eat and we spike our blood sugar, and then we go and our blood sugar spikes back down. All of a sudden it's like now you're lethargic. Now you're gonna fall because you're feeling heavy because you just had a huge meal. So now you're sitting on the couch and watching football. Or if you're not doing that, whatever you're doing, it's not necessarily as active as like going for a walk outside and
playing with your nieces and nephews or grandchildren or your own kids.
Right. So I mean, that is the thing that makes you lethargic. It's not the tryptophan. Knowledge bombs. Anyway, but yeah, that's a good mindset. I think that's important mindset too.
You're gonna move past.
Yeah.
Still eat pretty regularly if possible,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe just make them smaller meals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is like earn it and burn it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to try to work off your Thanksgiving dinner or something the next day or the day before, I have to run 10 miles because tomorrow I'm going to eat big or something.
Right. Like it's all going to get erased in one day.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So just kind of blow that mindset off and, just go on with your regular schedule things.
Yeah.
Eat your meal, enjoy your food, and move on. Don't have all this guilt in your own mind about, I'm going to eat like crap and then I'm going to have to go to the gym for no. Enjoy the meal and just work out regularly. You're not going to be able to work off that specific meal.
Right.
If you go to the gym and burn 500 calories, it's not going to mean like, okay, well, there was that sweet potato casserole right there or something. Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
No, and that's a very good point. And one thing I want to add on to that is you definitely want to be moving. you don't want during this time to stop whatever movement during the day that you are doing, or increasing movement in your day.
Yeah.
Don't let these, um, when going back to the earn it or burn it to earn it or earn it to burn it, whichever way it goes, the chicken or the egg right there. But getting into that mindset, if it kickstarts a workout program and you're doing something you're interested in or more stuff you're interested in now, and it's getting you into that mindset, cool. But continue that mindset. Don't let it be just up until Thanksgiving. For someone like you and I would say we've been continuing the movement. Adding in movement into our everyday, and I fully plan on having apple pies and apple crumbles or whatever baked apple cinnamon dessert there's
Someone
going to
better
be.
make that for you.
Somebody better. But I'm not going to feel guilty about that, as long as I stick to my game plan of continuing to move, continuing to eat healthy before and after that. So you're absolutely right. I do feel like getting into that burn it to earn it mindset that I see a lot with these holidays. It's not a long lasting mindset.
Right. And just like we said in the Mythbuster episodes, like one candy bar isn't equal to 30 minutes on the treadmill.
Right.
You can't.
There's no, yeah, right, exactly.
So I think it's more important to, when you go into the holidays, think about, what is the point of the holiday? It's to enjoy this time with your friends or your family and to make new memories. It's not about stressing about what you're going to eat and how you're going to be overly stuffed and how you're going to work that off. Like, just go in it with the mindset that you're there to enjoy your time and enjoy the food that you might not get to experience every day.
Right. A lot of these dishes you only have once a year, once or twice. Yeah.
So enjoy the food. If it helps you, maybe get a smaller plate, smaller portions of each, and really slow down and enjoy the taste of the food. And don't, a lot of times we just sit down, scarf our meal, boom, go back for a second.
Yeah. But that's because that's the mindset that we want to get into. It's like we want to have as much of the food that we like as possible. When I think slowing it down, really savoring the meal, chewing your food, I think that would make a huge difference. And I think you would have a better appreciation for that meal when you really sit there and savor and you're not just sort of blindly shoveling it out down your gullet.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah, no,
but
that's a good point.
That's how we all kind of get into. I mean, I'm guilty of it too.
Absolutely.
Sitting down, scarfing down the food, going back up for more.
Absolutely.
So it's something that I want to work on too. Being mindful, getting a little bit smaller of portions of the things that I necessarily don't eat all the time, and slowing down, savoring each bite. And another important thing is to make sure you're drinking a lot of water too. That can help with digestion
and especially during this time because we tend to be drinking more alcohol during this time. So drinking more water to offset that
dehydration.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is important to do. Even if I'm not saying cut back on the alcohol. That's not. I mean, I think you should cut back on the alcohol. Just in general, we typically are not drinking heavily that often. Last time we drank heavily. But I mean,
for me, it's been a year.
Yeah. It has been. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Just about a year. For me, it's been 18 days. No, I'm just kidding. No, I did drink pretty heavy before we got into this challenge. Heavier than I normally do.
Right.
I think I had and when I say, I was going to say, when I say heavier than I normally do, it was like 4 or 5 beers in a day, the entire day. So that's me heavy.
But it is important if you are drinking alcohol to drink water.
Right.
I mean, even if you're not drinking alcohol, you should still be drinking water.
Right.
So And that can also help with your hunger. If you're feeling hungry or you're not feeling satisfied, drink some water too. Or make sure you're drinking water while you're eating your meal, so you're not just getting overly stuffed on all this carb load. And
Well, that's something I wanted to get into too. So as far as recipes go, and I guess setting the expectation of what one offering what to bring, something to bring, and we can go through some of the healthier ways to prep stuff. Um, but like offering
yeah,
something to bring, but then also how do you get over the expectation of like when somebody, because if they open up just like a pan full of, let's say, sauteed vegetables that you and I would bring, or roasted vegetables that you and I would bring, and they're looking at this like, where's the cheese? Where's the crackers that's crumbled on top? Where's the bacon? There's something, you know? That's the expectation coming into the holidays. So how do you navigate the guilt, and then how do you make it healthy?
Well, I mean, I still think, think about what kind of sides that you would want to eat and how you can make them taste good. And kind of this is also a chance for you to introduce healthier meals to your friends and family. So, they might not think that what you made was good, but ask them to give it a try some of it and see what you think, because you might change their mind and be like, oh, well, I guess this is good. Okay, maybe that's something that you could actually eat. So you could there are a lot of good recipes for big salads that you could make, all different types of vegetables or potatoes that you can make in healthier ways. I mean, there's one of the cookbooks that we did, the Fed and Fit, Cook Once, Eat All Week. That lady, she has an ebook out that has all these different holiday recipes that are all very healthy recipes that are good ideas.
We don't have the lady's name.
That I can't think of her name, but there are lots of healthy recipes out there that you can make, Thanksgiving worthy, that people will enjoy. And you can still do like different.
We just got to change the mindset there.
Right.
Well,
it doesn't have to be sweet potatoes with marshmallows stuffed on top, because a lot of people don't even like sweet potatoes like that.
No.
And when I say like, oh, I eat a lot of sweet potatoes, that's what people think, and they're like, oh, sweet potatoes are gross.
Right.
Well, why don't you try to just roast some sweet potatoes and see what you think that way?
Yeah.
It might change your mindset.
Well, I felt the same way. I mean, the reason I think I stayed away from like carrots and definitely sweet potatoes and yams for the longest time was because that's the only way we would make it. It's just like covered with brown sugar and honey glazed and marshmallows, and I'm just like I don't like that. But like I like yams. I love sweet potatoes. I mean, it was just.
It's all about how you prepare it. So what are some different ways that you can prepare it that are healthier? Cook with olive oil or avocado or coconut oil. Use seasonings load up on the seasonings, garlic, onions. Those things are natural seasonings that are going to add a lot of flavor. You can look if you want to add in different like dressings. Primal Kitchen has a lot of different salad dressings or marinades. What are some of the other ones? Tessame is another brand that has a lot of dressings that don't have added sugars in them that are good for you. So kind of look out of the box of what the norm is and kind of how can I change this, normal dish into something that might be a little healthier.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll still make green beans with bacon, but I'll use the sugar-free bacon this time or something like that.
Put it in a casserole.
And not put, a tub of.
A big one. A lot of people bring casseroles. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, that's true.
So I mean, what's huge was huge in my family, and I think we started getting away from it on the Tortorisi side was everybody was bringing casseroles. It was the green bean.
Easy to make.
Yeah, and right, and it's a big dish, and it makes a big dish. But like, you can make roasted vegetables tasty, good, flavorful, like in season, squashes and this, and bring a lot of flavor to that. My family was, and I don't think they are anymore, but my family was stuck in the mindset of big casseroles. It's, the broccoli and cheese casserole, and the green bean casserole with the
Chicken soup.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think I think getting away from that mindset, and understanding that you could bring big dishes of fresher stuff, or of tastier, like,
Yeah,
in season
maybe
vegetables.
asparagus, wrap it with some prosciutto or something. People
Oh,
have
yeah.
done that and love
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
There's a lot of different stuffed mushroom recipes that you
Hmm.
can stuff with, different meat and veggies. And so you just kind of have to be creative. And
Right.
you can always use Pinterest and look up, Whole 30 Thanksgiving ideas or Primal Thanksgiving ideas. And that will give you
Sorry.
that will give you some ideas of some healthier recipes. So
Yeah.
check that out. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't mean that you have to eat Whole 30, but it is a healthier meal.
It's going to be a healthier option.
Yeah.
It's going to have healthy, and even if you want to add in some ingredient that you enjoy and you prefer, and like I said, that's you're not eating on a regular basis, like crumbling crackers on top, Ritz crackers on top of something. If that's what you add in, fine. That's fine. Or like you said, the bacon or the prosciutto, like going somewhere a little bit unhealthier, and maybe off of a Whole 30 recipe or something like that. That's not a bad thing. That's the time to do this. That's the time to indulge, because that's not something that you do on a regular basis.
Right.
I mean, I'm not wrapping asparagus and prosciutto on a regular Friday night. I mean, we do have some creative meals, I think,
Right.
and we do that, but I mean, that's going.
Yeah.
It's going the extra mile. Just bust out the hummus and walk, and we'll be fine.
Exactly. The other thing I was going to say is watch what I did mention to cook with olive oil and stuff, but don't be cooking with vegetable oils or margarine. Use real butter, or ghee is a good alternative for butter, or olive oil, avocado oil. So that's another good way to watch, how you're prepping your meal. If it says vegetable oil, substitute olive oil, something like that. Some other tips that.
Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to turn off our furnace. I didn't realize that was on. It's got a lot of background noise there. Hold on one second, guys.
Okay, sorry about that. Brief little time.
Hit them.
But the last thing that we want to go into is sleep.
Mhm.
So, sleep is really important for you to, for your body to kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Re-energize?
Re-energize, heal,
Rejuvenate.
so get your rest. Make sure you're still getting some good sleep in. Go to sleep at your normal time, and if you're out, try to sleep in a little bit more, but prioritize sleep because it will help your body with the inflammation and kind of just healing itself.
Well, and I think sleep, especially for everything that we're throwing at our body already, sleep's going to help regulate the mood, so to speak. So, I mean, if we start losing some sleep, and we're not sleeping as long, we might not feel motivated to be moving. We may make poor nutritional choices because we're not necessarily as well rested and of sound mind as we usually are. So, I mean, just I think sleep is extremely important. Coming from somebody who didn't believe it previously, but these last 18 days have been
Making a difference.
different. Yeah, they've been making a change in my thinking. So yeah, I do think we need to, as much as we tell ourselves and as much as you hear it, we do need to be prioritizing sleep. It's so important.
Yeah.
So very important. Yeah.
So I think to recap, stick to your guns, stick to what works for you. Don't feel pressure. Don't feel guilty. Enjoy your time with your family. Enjoy the food that you might not get to eat all the time. I know I'll be enjoying some kind of chocolatey treat. So get some movement in, get your sleep, drink your water,
If nobody's making apple crumble, I'm making apple crumble.
Have a
Tell me.
happy holiday.
Tell me so I can do this.
It might be your dessert.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys and talk to you guys before the Thanksgiving holidays. But if we don't hear from us, have a happy holiday.
Yeah.
Be smart. Keep moving.